Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today this week we're going to be doing Modern Doctor Who Week. So this whole week, Monday through Sunday, every video is going to be about Modern Doctor Who, unless they do some kind of classic Doctor Who announcement, like a collection set. And then, yeah, we're jumping in with that. But I talk about the classic series a lot, and I do tend to talk about it more. And, we do have to remember that Modern Doctor Who also has a lot of good episodes, a lot of strong episodes, a lot of strong doctors, and characters. So this whole week we're going to be talking about Modern Doctor Who. I'll pause for a moment because I'm sure some of you are groaning. Some of you are probably like, I'll check back in with Prowl next week. But we are going to talk about Modern Doctor Who, and I thought a good way to start that off is talking about the one thing I actually think Chris Chibnall does really well. Now, I have not been a fan of Chris Chibnall or his era or the 13th Doctor era really at all. But there is one thing I think Chris Chibnall is good at, has gotten back on track, and one thing I do like it for, and one thing that I think he does far better than Stephen Moffat. Because there is one thing I think a lot of people would agree that Moffat was not good at doing. One thing that it just never seemed like he completely got. And I think Chris Chibnall does get it. And between the two, I think Chibnall does it better than Moffat. And that one thing is the Daleks. I think Chris Chibnall gets the Daleks. Whereas I think Stephen Moffat never fully got the Daleks. Because I always think the Russell T Davies era was far better with the Daleks than Moffat's era was. Now, I like Victory of the Daleks. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I've talked a lot of times how I think it's a very underrated story. But it has flaws. It has issues. A lot of people don't like the Paradigm Daleks. They kind of shuffled those away as quick as they could. I don't like when the Daleks just kind of cameoed in stories like the Series 5 finale. Into the Dalek is good and a unique take on the Daleks. But for some reason, maybe it's because I don't like that version of 12, that Series 8 version of 12 much, I don't really click with that episode. I like the episode, but I don't love the episode with Into the Dalek. Asylum of the Daleks is fun. It's silly fun. But again, it's flawed. It has so many flaws. First off, just the idea of the Daleks having an asylum for insane Daleks is ridiculous, because they would just kill the useless Daleks. Daleks have no qualms killing non-useful Daleks. Also, the Amy and Rory thing, them splitting up, seems forced just so the Doctor can fix it in that episode. But it's guilty fun. And that's, I think, the thing with Moffat Dalek episodes is they have flaws in them, just objective flaws that I think most Doctor Who fans can spot, even though they can subjectively be enjoyable. Whereas I think all three of Chibnall's Dalek stories, which are all the New Year's specials, are good. I like all of them. I think Resolution made the Daleks scary again. We probably haven't seen them that scary since Dalek, I would say. You could argue the Series 1 finale, but I'd say maybe since Dalek. And I love Dalek, the Series 1 story Dalek's my favorite Dalek story. So it does a good job of making the Dalek scary again. And I like the fact that they do explain this is a different type of Dalek. That's why it can possess people. Part of that works because the actress playing the woman that's possessed is just really good at it. She does a phenomenal job playing that possessed character. And I like the Dalek's deeper voice, where it doesn't quite have that high-pitched voice. It's a darker, deeper voice. I like that. I loved Revolution of the Daleks. One, I just am amused by the fact that the 13th Doctor stuck in prison for 50 years, where any other Doctor would have been out of there far sooner, I firmly believe. You don't keep the Doctor locked up very long. But it's nice having Captain Jack back in that episode, too. I've always liked Jack. I like the Daleks in this one, because I like that design they have for the kind of hybrid Dalek, the UK design for their security forces. It's a neat new Dalek design for a one-off, like how a human would design a Dalek. I love having the real Daleks show up, and I love having them fight, having a civil war with the Daleks. That's exactly what the Daleks would do if they ran into impure Daleks. They would destroy them. It's very much a callback to the Civil War from Revelations and Remembrance. It reminds me a lot of Remembrance, and I like that. Again, it seems like Chibnall gets the Daleks, and they behave like the Daleks. And the resolution of how she tricks them all into going into that fake TARDIS is a pretty cool, neat little trick. And the actual visual of that effect is really impressive. It looks really good. Now, it is a little out of character for the Doctor to just sacrifice a TARDIS like that. But other than that, glossing over that, I really enjoy that story. The Trump character isn't so much a two-dimensional Trump character in this one. He is fleshed out a little more and kind of done as a separate character instead of as a Trump pantomime. And so I find him much more tolerable in this episode. Just in general, I like this episode and how it ties in with Resolution. And then we had Eve of the Daleks, which I really liked. I'm a sucker for a Groundhog Day story, because I love Groundhog Day. I love Groundhog Day. I've got the DVD somewhere. But I love that story. It's one of my favorite Bill Murray movies. It's one of my favorite movies. I've always loved Groundhog Day. So if you give me a Groundhog Day premise, I'm going to be intrigued. You give me a Doctor Who Groundhog Day premise, I'm really intrigued. You throw the Daleks in there with these badass new guns that I love. Yeah, I know they kind of have that Stormtrooper syndrome where they're in a narrow hallway. How did they miss so much? Yes, it's a little, they got a little plot armor on there. Willing suspension of disbelief can get me over that. But I love the little spin they put on the time loop where each time loop is getting a minute shorter. That's clever. And I'm surprised that's never been done before. And maybe it has, but I'm not aware of it ever being done before, where the time loop is slowly closing itself. That's creative, and I like that. And it takes them all the way to the end, and they're having to pre-plan loops, much like in Groundhog Day, to set up, except in this case they're having to set up for the final loop. I enjoy that story. I like both of the guest cast, the guy and the girl who are the guest actors in it. They're both really good. I like some of the scenes. It has some really funny moments, like when they find the guy's storage unit and it's all the stuff he keeps from X's. And, they're all kind of weirded out. Oh, I've got X's all over the place. And they're like, it's still alive, right? He goes, yeah. And they're like, oh. So it has some nice little humor mixed in it. I do like the one time he ducks and the Daleks blow each other up. I enjoy that one. All three of the Dalek stories. I like Resolution. I really like the other two. Like Resolution, I just like. But the other two, I really enjoy. And I don't know if I like any of them quite as much as I like Victory, but that's more a subjective thing, because I just have a soft spot for Victory. Victory has far more objective flaws to it than the Chibnall one. So I do like, Chibnall is batting 1,000 for me when it comes to his Dalek stories. I've liked all of them. Whereas Moffat's, even the ones I subjectively like, I can see the glaring flaws in. Victory of the Daleks, the whole Japanese, or not Japanese, but World War II planes in space thing, I can't get over that. I don't know what it is about that, but I just find that laughably silly. Even in something like Doctor Who, where you can do anything. That World War II planes are flying around in space, that's a jumping the shark moment for me. It's just so silly and ridiculous that I can't. My willingness, suspense of disbelief just goes, nope, I'm out of here, bye. And then again, Asylum of the Daleks just has so many things that make no sense at all. You always get this feeling that Moffat didn't quite get the Daleks. That's how I feel. As much as I know he's a Doctor Who fan, I don't think he 100% gets the Daleks. And to be fair, I think Chris Chibnall does. That's the one thing I will give Chris Chibnall, is that he does the Daleks well. That's probably the best the Daleks have been done since Russell's era. So that's my thoughts on that. That is the one thing I think Chris Chibnall does better than Stephen Moffat, and the one thing I think Chris Chibnall did really well, and that is the Daleks. So comment down below and let me know what you've thought of this video, and now that you've heard me talk about it, I'm curious if I've changed anyone's mind, like, you know what? I don't like Chris Chibnall, but I have to give Prowl that. I have to give him that one. I'm curious to know what you think, and whether you think Chibs might have done the Daleks better than Moffat, because Moffat just didn't seem like he knew what he was doing with the Daleks. So comment down below. I always enjoy hearing from you guys and gals. Other things to do, click the like button and the subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to subscribe to what I do, there's a link to that down in the description below. Check it out. I also have a P.O. Box. If there's anything you would like to send me, that's down there as well, as is a link to my Amazon wish list, which I update regularly. I want to give a shout out to two of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane and the Fifth Doctor. I appreciate their continued support, just as I do the support of all of my patrons. I appreciate every single one of you. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.